y'all might have noticed lately, Caitlin Clark fans, that you've been getting raked over the coals from pretty much everywhere. From the Fever, Stephanie White cult, simps, whatever you want to call them, that seem to be getting checks that they are cashing from the Indiana Fever directly to the media after they got through with their character attacks on Caitlin Clark. And I don't know, maybe they're shifting a little because, like, oh, maybe they're not quite working, not quite as effective as they were hoping they would be. Let's move on and go after the Caitlin Clark fans very hard. So we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into all of that, right? A deep dive into the darkest of dark nights, or something that is poetic and related to basketball. I don't know that you'll ever actually see this video. I haven't decided, but I certainly want to get a lot of these thoughts off of my chest. So we are going to address the massive elephant in the room, and that is the treatment of you, the fans, the ones who allow the league to exist. Because that treatment has been awful, and it's been ratcheted up another level recently. And I am not going to sit here and be silent about how all of you are constantly getting trashed for nothing more than being normal sports fans. That's all you're doing. You're being normal sports fans. It kind of makes you ask why, doesn't it? Why the constant attacks? Why the constant criticisms? Why the insults of sports fans for acting like sports fans? So let's talk about exactly that. Welcome back, by the way. Appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Truly appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to like the video. It helps out tremendously. Comment as well. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, quick favor, make sure you still are. You probably heard me say it a million times. I apologize for that, but YouTube gets a little crazy in that regard. Quick side note, I'm a little excited today. World Cup, U.S. men's national team with their first game of the group stage today. So I'm definitely going to catch that. We'll see how it goes. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. But it's in the U.S., which is kind of cool. So anyway, for those of you that don't know, back to the fan stuff. We know that the WNBA, thanks to Caitlin Clark, they've been getting everything they have said for so long that they deserve, right? That it's a right to have all this money, to have all these viewers, to have you as fans selling out arenas. But oddly enough, they don't really seem to want to take it all together. They don't seem to want to take, I don't know, some of the negatives that go with being a professional sports league. Okay, just checking, still recording. Anyway, I had a video the other day that I finished up, was about, I don't know, 15 minutes long, and the audio didn't work. So I get paranoid at times. But anyway, yeah, they don't seem to want any of the negatives that come with being a professional sports league. They don't want fans to act like fans. But look, we all know that actual basketball fans bring something a little different to the league than they've had in the past, right? I've talked about it before. I talked about the sunlight being the disinfectant. They don't want that sunlight shining on what they have always been. So you get attacked, insulted. Caitlin Clark fans told they need to shut up. They need to sit quietly. They need to cheer on everyone. They need to blindly support everything and everyone in this league. You only like one player? How dare you? How dare you, sir, madam person? You only like one team? No. That's not good enough either. How dare you? If I had a white glove, I'd slap you with it. Because I've never heard you can't support one team only until the WNBA. That's kind of a new one because, my favorite football team is the Philadelphia Eagles. That's my team. I'll watch other games, but that's my team. Baseball, it's the Phillies. Basketball, it's the Sixers. Hockey, it's the Flyers. American soccer, MLS, it is the Philly Union. I don't know. I'm crazy like that, I guess. Or then again, maybe I'm just a typical sports fan, a normal sports fan. And yet, when it comes to the WNBA, I'm hated for that, as are you, of course, even more so when you get into the the player part, right? Where the WNBA say, hey, you dare to say, hey, I'm not a Fever fan. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. When Caitlin Clark leaves, I leave. And you say, hey, I will support the Indiana Fever while Caitlin Clark is on that team, and I will support all of the players. But I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. That's just the way it is. How dare all of you? This is what they're saying to you. This is about how dare all of you treat the WNBA like a sports league? How dare you scrutinize? How dare you ask questions about, I don't know, coaching and coaching decisions? Who do you think that you are? You want the GM fired? Who said you, the customer, could voice your opinion on something like that? What do you know, right? What do you know about any of this? But look, here's the thing, nothing is off limits, or it shouldn't be, right? I mean, the more I think about it, I'll give you an example. This because this is one of the things we're not allowed to talk about. But the more I think about it, the more distance we get from it, the more I am convinced that Caitlin Clark was benched for that game because of the previous game's interactions with the coaching that got a lot of attention. The evidence to me, taking everything into consideration, which of course makes me a conspiracy theorist and not a real fan, tells me Caitlin Clark was benched. And of course, when that happens and everything else happens, any fan who looks at the Sophie Cunningham situation and says, I think Sophie Cunningham got the bench treatment because of not only the play itself. I think that could have been let go. I think that could have just been a coach player meeting talking to. But then the social media stuff after, Sophie Cunningham, to a lot of fans, got benched. And again, very legitimate question to be asked. Did she get benched? Because when you look at everything, there's a very rational argument that says, yeah, she got benched. But unfortunately, in the WNBA, you're the problem. Fans acting like fans, that is the problem. And it has sent its sycophantic media out to destroy all of you. Of course, they don't seem to realize that if they succeed in destroying all of you, the WNBA slips right back into complete irrelevancy. And the NBA, with that new CBA, might be like, I'm not sure we're going to continue to foot the bill because the price tag compared to what we had been doing in the past, yeah, it's a lot more expensive than it used to be. I don't know if that is a price tag that we are going to pay off. Because again, if Caitlin Clark leaves, make no mistake, a lot of those valuations for these franchises, like the Fever, plummet. Now there are some that'll still be good, right? Because there are definitely progress that has been made. It's all thanks to Caitlin Clark, but there's definitely secondary progress that has been made because of Caitlin Clark that will stay when if Caitlin Clark were to no longer be in the league or her fans just got fed up and said, I'm leaving. Right? That's just simply the way it would go. But it would be a lot different than it is right now for sure. Um, but yeah, so you're the problem, not the product on the court, right? It's not the messy drama. It's not the teammate relationships. It's not drafting a player number one so she can hang out with her girlfriend. Right? It's not the bullying players out of the league. It's not Asia Wilson on national TV talking right to Kelsey Plum's face saying she's in the league because of her white privilege. No, it's not any of that. It's not the bad officiating. It's not the activism. It's not the poor coaching. It's not the unqualified hires. It's not the good players that somehow are not in the league. None of that's a problem. It's not the fake racism allegations, which there was never an apology from either the league or the Indiana Fever organization, which didn't defend its fans. It's not the attacks on Caitlin Clark on the court or the attacks on Caitlin Clark off the court. No, 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 dear viewer. You are the problem because you noticed all those things and you discuss all those things and you ask questions about all those things and you criticize those things. And those things, in case you haven't figured it out yet, are off limits. Your job is just to spend time and money supporting the league. That's it. Criticism? No. Questions? Not allowed. How dare you want things to be better? How dare you act like a sports fan? But guess what? Shocking for some of you, apparently. But that's what sports fans do. Sports fans question everything. Sports fans get into conspiracy theories. Sports fans scream and yell and they overreact and they demand things. They demand coaching being fired. Again, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but we demanded for quite a while now, including last season, that our manager of the Phillies get fired. Finally did after a 9-19 start this season. And I'm not sure exactly what it's been since then, but I think we're like 27-11. Second best or best record in Major League Baseball since the firing of 9-19. Completely turned around the season. That's what fans do, right? The year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, we started out 2-2. It looked bad, had a really, really bad call to end the game that caused the loss that had us 2-2, and we wanted our coach's head. He had to go. Season ended with a Super Bowl victory, I'm just saying. But here's the thing. My point being, fans question calls. They question coaching, owners' decisions, GM decisions, free agency decisions, draft picks, the starting lineup, the playing time, the rotations, the offensive system, the defensive system, injury reports, media narratives around the team. Fans question all of that and they do it constantly. It is normal fan behavior, damn it. Knock it off. It is not conspiracy theorist crap. It's not racist. It's not sexist. It's not toxic. It's none of those things. It's freaking sports. You inbred buffoons. Can I say that? I mean, we could consider that bread as in the stuff you eat. How does that sound? Man, I would love to see the WNBA try to find like football fans, soccer fans in Europe or Brazil or Argentina or Spain or someplace like that. Oh my goodness. But again, in the WNBA, we are told to shut up, to sit down, to cheer loudly for everything and everything. How dare we act like sports fans? Who do we think we are? To see you fans in the WNBA, you are too emotional. You read too much into everything. You are too much into the whole tinfoil hat stuff. You're too hateful. You're too critical. You just don't get or understand how the WNBA works and what they have been through. And you need to be happy just to be allowed to spend your time, money, and energy on the WNBA. You should thank it. But here's the thing: I don't care how it worked in the past. I don't care that it. I mean, how it worked in the past was a hardcore failure for 27 years, 28 years. I don't care about its history. I really don't. I don't care about the lie of it being built on the back of black game. It was built on the back of the NBA. I don't give a crap. I don't give two craps. I want to be entertained watching good basketball and to be left alone to talk about it like a normal sports fan does with other normal sports fans. The media, and here's the other thing that really gets me with a lot of this is, as you may have noticed, the media never deals with the substance of things, never deals with the substance of the questions that the fans are asking. Instead, they insult them, they attack them, they move goalposts, twist their words, take things out of context. And truth be told, most fans have zero interest in dealing with that, and they will leave quickly. And despite massive ratings like that CBS game, I can tell you some fans have left. The numbers overall are not what they should be compared to last year and with the ratings changes. Sports are supposed to be entertainment, and fans are getting treated like freaking lepers. When fans ask questions in the WNBA, they get attacked, they get insulted, they get put down, they get told to shut up, they get told they're obsessed, they get told they're unhinged. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Sounds like fun, right? No, not really. Remember Christine Brennan thing? I talked about that the other day in the question she asked Stephanie White, and Stephanie White went on her little rampage about not here to appease fans and all that, which sounds great. Sounds great in the locker room, sure does. Really tone deaf when you get into putting that out into the world when you are nothing without the fans. They're the actual customer. They're the actual customer. Um, by the way, okay, now I'm not going to mention who this is from because it's irrelevant and that's not the point. But this is a common sentiment that I want to read this to you from and make sure I get this pulled up because I want to actually read this for you. But this is a common sentiment about the old guard WNBA protectors, those protecting, Stephanie White and the Fever and stuff. It says, and keep in mind everything I just said to you about normal fans and what we do and demand firings and question coaching decisions and all that. I know we live in a time when the public thinks they get to control coaches. I didn't know that. I'd never heard that. But that's not reality. The goal is to win, not tickle folks' fancies, many of whom have already shown themselves to never, ever be satisfied. As I pointed out a couple of days ago, many of today's observers could not have handled Coach Pat Summitt. I say all the time that sports are a microcosm of society. And like we see in society today, this current culture has caused people to have an inflated opinion of their rights. Tweeted by someone who has an inflated opinion of her or his rights. Because again, here you are telling fans how to fan as they continue to do, which I have always been consistent. Even fans who I think have crazy opinions I don't agree with, I'm not going to tell them they can't have that or they can't be a fan. Well, I might sometimes just as a troll to annoy them, but let fans be fans. Fans are going to fan how they want to fan. Let them deal with things. If they love to crash out after every loss, the sky is falling, the season's over, we're not even going to make the playoffs. Cool. Let them do it. How does that hurt you? FYI, no one thinks they get to control coaches, but fans who support the league, who pay to keep the lights on and pay those salaries, you're damn right that they have the right to have an opinion about those coaches, and they have a right to demand coaches be better, to demand coaches make changes, to demand coaches be fired. Pittsburgh just did it recently with their longtime head coach of the Steelers, Mike Tomlin. Got him the boot. They were like, "Hey, man, that's great that the man's never had a losing season, but we haven't been to the playoffs in a decade. Like, we're not okay with just being 500 all the time. We want to be great sometimes. And as crazy as it sounds, there will be a lot of fans who will be like, you know what? We'll take a Super Bowl and then some bad seasons in the wilderness over being 8-8 or 9-8 or 10-7 every year and never going anywhere." By the way, I could handle Coach Pat Summitt. I think that's a bizarre thing. I think that's more of like, hey, look at the credibility I have. I'm pulling out Coach Pat Summitt's name. Do you even know who Pat Summitt is? By the way, normal fans. I don't know many normal fans who are ever satisfied. I want as a fan, I want every single game to be won. Every single game. No, you're right. We're not satisfied. And again, that is normal fandom. It has nothing to do with an inflated opinion of their rights. So you're telling me a fan doesn't have the right to voice their opinion about a coach? Is that what you're telling me? Sounds like you might have an inflated opinion about rights. Anyway, so yeah, as I mentioned, we're being told as fans that our normal stuff, our normal asking of questions, is making we're unhinged, we're crazy. Your parasocial is one I've heard a lot lately. Obsessed. There's another one. But I don't know. I've noticed a lot of people are obsessed with policing every single thing every fan says. Maybe back up just a little bit from that, right? Fans question everything. It is what they do. For those of you who don't know, maybe have conveniently forgotten, fan, short for fanatic. Obsession is normal for a fanatic. And then, of course, I get this one a lot. Well, I always get told, "Oh, you don't know basketball at all." Okay, I don't know basketball. Okay, I have a whole lot of video that will say differently, so I'm not going to argue that point because you don't get anywhere. And of course, and what's funny is I even get this on X on Twitter where I'm not even monetized. Oh, you're saying that you're just chasing engagement. The media with their insane anti-Caitlin, everything's about Caitlin Clark, right? In the media covering the WNBA, they don't, even if they're talking about something that has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, they'll find a way to get Caitlin Clark in it. But we're chasing engagement. But it's an easy insult for the intellectually shallow and the intellectually challenged who cannot actually stand on facts and truths and have a debate about any of these things. So they're going to go to right to any kind of insult that they can come up with. But look, I think a lot of you have been around a while. If that were true, there are a lot of videos on this channel that would not be here. I would not have done them because they did not serve me. But here's what they were. They were honest, right? These are the things I have to stand on. I know what I'm doing. Hopefully, if you've been around a while, I've made that pretty clear. And I stake everything on being honest with all of you, being honest with my audience, even if you're not going to like what I'm going to say, because it is all I have. Without that, there isn't anything. It's absolutely wild. But look, here's the thing. It's the media wants all of the scrutiny from us to stop. I think the media also feels insecure because we're taking their audience, because we're covering things in the WNBA and Caitlin Clark in a way that they don't, whether it's they don't want to or they're afraid to or they can't for whatever reason. But they are absolutely in line with telling you all to just hush, hush. They don't want to hear it. But my lord, anybody who knows me, who's known me a while, and even on this channel, you probably know this. Quiet, not really my thing. Biting my tongue, not really my thing. Not voicing my opinion, not really my thing. But yeah, they don't like the fact that we have changed everything about this league forever. I mean, we have arrived, folks, and to quote a rather narcissistic messiah complex of a quote, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Oh, yeah. So, look, man, I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to appease or change for all these wackos in the media and the Stephanie White defenders and the Fever defenders and all that. If you don't like that, I mean, I guess it sounds kind of like a you problem, really. But I know this, dear media. The more vociferous you get, the more you choose to go down this path, the stronger and more popular alternatives like my channel, small, but I think it has a little bit of influence, and other channels like mine have even become even more popular. And the problem that you are railing against, that you are railing against, that you're screaming against, that you are throwing a tantrum against, it's going to get worse for you. Just something to think about that. And now I'm just realizing that very recently I've compared myself to the Messiah and quite possibly Luke Skywalker. The real Luke, of course, not the Disney-fied version, because we don't talk about it. But look, man, when good people who simply love watching Caitlin Clark play basketball get attacked for it, I can't ignore that. I can't be silent about that. They don't need it. They certainly don't deserve it. And it needs to change if the WNBA actually wants to be successful. I'm just saying. And this idea now that we have about mocking and insulting normal sports fans for doing what fans do in all other sports, every single day, it doesn't make the fans you. It doesn't make you look obsessed or unhinged. It makes them look obsessed and unhinged for attacking you for being a normal fan. But as you all know, I am not new to basketball. They like to go with that one as well. Philly born and raised, championship grade veteran, losing teams and everything in between. I'm certainly no stranger to fan wars and being an attacked fan base. And not new to the sport. Might be new to your league, thanks to Caitlin Clark. Not new to the sport. Played, coached, officiated, officiated. Whew. Trained players, trained athletes, discussed and debated the sport, games, players, decisions, coaches, free agency, all of it. My entire life. I've been in all kinds of gyms for all kinds of games as a player, coach, and fan and official. I've been surrounded my entire life by fans and coaches and officials and players, all kinds of levels. Been there, done that. Got the oh. How's that phrase go? Got the what? I forget what I got. Oh. Um, don't know what you got till it's gone, but that's a song. I've done the whole thing. I've studied different offenses, studied different defenses. Coached the spacing on the floor and the timing and different plays and the whole thing. Player development. I've trained athletes to become more athletic. I've screamed and yelled about coaching decisions and debated them for hours. My point being, I am not the only one. A lot of Caitlin Clark fans have backgrounds similar to mine. And for those fans that came to basketball because of Caitlin Clark, you should be thanking them. You should be treating them well because that is how you grow the game. The hardcore aren't enough for any sport. The NFL is not massive because of hardcore fans. The NFL is massive because it has enough casual fans that tune into games. You need the casual fan. So these constant attacks on fans, the ones you're going to chase away first, the casual fans. The one you need the most, the casual fans. What they're doing is not hate, it's simply fandom. It is simply fandom. Yes, fans see things that are wrong, and fans are loud about those things that are wrong. And again, you should be praising that because when we're no longer loud and we're no longer asking questions, it means we no longer care. And when we no longer care, we leave. And when we leave, you're done. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Anyway, this got way, 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 way longer than I ever expected it to be. So we'll see if I'll even put it up. I don't know. But hey, if you did enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe. Talk to y'all later.